This is gonna be a long fucking year for gaming. Cause God fucking damn it. This is kind of my E3 overview thing, and I'm just doing this because I want to address a few things. Because I feel like they're just, and there's gonna be a lot of Nintendo focus, but primarily because they did the worst. So there's a lot of things that need to be talked about, but I am going to go ahead and talk about some of this shit. So, first things first. It is, as it stands, I would say my E3 ranking is Sony, Microsoft, and then Nintendo. Nintendo is so low primarily just through disappointment, not even really through bad lack of games or games shown. Just fucking disappointment. That's really where like most of my anger, my sadness and anger comes from, is that I'm just fucking disappointed. But here's the thing. Even with that being the case, and that being my opinions, Sony will probably still be the worst this year in terms of, and so this is what pisses me off. Sony is winning off of things I hated the Xbox 360 for winning off of, which were fucking multiplats. And then today, I don't remember how many games, but it was a good chunk of games. It was like, oh, a lot of the Xbox One exclusive games are coming to PC, and I just sat there with this look on my face like, and you're worried about fucking Nintendo shit. Bruh, what is the fucking point of owning an Xbox One at all? I wish I could find every single thing. I wish I could find every single thing. I can't. But my God, it was like Killer Instinct. It was something. It was a chunk of things. But I saw it on Facebook. But I do remember, like it was that. A lot of Xbox One games were just coming to PC, and I'm like, holy shit, guys, like, stop. Like, do people realize that exclusives are the only reason why you own consoles, considering PC seems to beat everything, and because PC is becoming so commonplace and easy to use, you can't even really use the excuse that, oh, PC is harder. No, that's why I don't do PC, because PC is hard to deal with. No, it's exactly not. That's not what it is. Just fucking, so Microsoft's conference, that in itself just fucking, I just sat there and I was like, yo, that's terrible. It's fucking terrible. My God. Anyways, so that's the one thing about Xbox I couldn't stand. Sony, I still think will probably do the worst in terms of exclusive this year, primarily because everything that we got hyped about, everything that they won E3 with, was games that don't come out this year. Street Fighter V doesn't come out this year. Last Guardian doesn't come out this year. Shenmue 3 doesn't come out this year. Uncharted 4 doesn't come out this year. Horizon, the new IP, doesn't come out this year. Almost every fucking thing that you could champion Sony for doesn't even come out this year, but they won E3. And fine, you know, they had the best conference, but that doesn't mean shit if I'm still not interested in buying your console this year. And that's exactly the problem. I'm not interested in buying a PlayStation 4. Batman has so much bullshit behind it, I'd just rather wait until a definitive edition. That's the other problem. The shit like you have a definitive edition of a game. Definitive editions and remasters become so commonplace that I don't trust the original versions anymore. That's probably the main reason why I will never buy the first edition of fighting games anymore. I learned my lesson with that with Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom, and even DOA. I'm like, I'll just fucking wait. Because that seems to be the fucking trend with fighting games now. Batman, I'm just waiting. And Batman was like the only game I gave a shit about this year. And that has so much shit behind it that I'm thinking, I'll just wait until they put everything in a collection. The PlayStation 4 still doesn't have a reason to be bought this year. Like, yeah, fine, you hype me for next year, but Sony, your biggest problem wasn't even next year. Your biggest problem was this year. And there's like nothing coming out but like fucking multiplats. What other exclusive was coming out this year, actually, now that I think about it? Maybe Dreams, and I mean, just like, fuck. And so Microsoft has almost half of its exclusives coming to fucking PC, not almost all of them. which really undermines getting an Xbox One. PlayStation doesn't have any games until next year, and Nintendo literally, the worst thing you've done for this E3 is you've made so many people think about NX even though that was not your intention. I find it hilarious that the thing that you said you weren't going to talk about is what is on everybody's mind after that fucking E3. Seriously, that depressed me more than anything else. I think I am more saddened that people feel like you've given up on the Wii U just from this conference. Which is a fucking amazing thing to do, actually. It's amazing that everyone just went to that as soon as it happened. But it's not like I don't see why, but I have a little bit more faith in that. But that's what it came off. That was the biggest problem at E3. See, I feel like it was a bad trifecta. It's like you announced the NX to make sure people don't think you're just going strictly mobile. But now that you've thrown the NX in people's minds and shit, and you said something about talking about it next year, so you have it floating around, and then to have a lackluster E3 on top of that, it's like it did not. And then we did and then on top of that, Zelda being delayed. That didn't help either. And the funny thing is, I don't even think you thought that was going to happen. The fact that like Iwata saw that negative response and was like, "Tell us how to improve it next year." I really think that he was like, "Yo." I think they thought they could kind of pseudo coast, and in a sense they can, because the one thing they uploaded right after the direct like was an infogram of like what's coming out this year. And they were like, "Well, yeah, we got games this year. What's the problem?" That wasn't the problem, bruh. The problem was that, and they were like, "Oh, we announced games for 2016." Yeah, but people, and I really think this is what it was. I think they did not think that those games would hit that badly, and they hit Animal Crossing and specifically Metroid hit so fucking bad it was ridiculous. I don't even think the NX is being. I don't even think the NX. They might talk about the NX, but I don't even think the NX will come out in 2016. I think the NX will come out in 2017. Yo, goddamn, that was the biggest like fuck you moment, because it's. I don't feel as negatively about the NX, the whole NX Wii U NX transition as everyone else does, but you can obviously tell that is exactly what was conveyed. People looked at that direct digital event and went, "Hey," like the way they interpreted that shit was, "This is what we have for this year. This year looks pretty good. We'll have a few games for next year. NX." People just looked at NX. Because all they announced was shit for this year, and the shit they announced for next year are literally just games that were extended from last year. Even if I look up the actual infogram, the games that are coming out next year are games that we've known about for a good minute now. I'm trying to find it real quick. Because the only games that are coming out Wii U-wise is like, what is it? Fucking the Fire Emblem crossover game, which has been talked about for like how many years now? Fucking how many years has it been? It's been a while, hasn't it? It's been a good while. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to find the infographic so I know exactly what games I'm thinking of, because there was like a good chunk of games where people were just like, "Yo." I can't find it right now, but that infograph only really showed one Wii U game for next year, which is the Fire Emblem crossover. I can't even think of anything else. Like, what else is coming out next year? I'm seeing if I can find the damn infograph, and I can't. Nope, can't fucking find it. The Fire Emblem games are coming out next year. I think, is the Mario and Luigi shit coming out? Like, they have games coming out next year, but like the biggest thing was it just felt like there wasn't really anything substantial coming out next year. It's like, and they're sitting there like, "Well, we have Zelda next year." I'm like, guys, that's the problem. There was your year built up to a trifecta of people thinking that you said fuck the Wii U essentially. That's where everything was leading to. The only chance you had to fix that, and you still kind of can sort of fix it depending on how the rest of this week goes, is saying, no, we have games for next year. That's not what came out of that. What came out of next year is like bullshit games. Like games that don't feel like they're high quality. So most people are just thinking that, oh yeah, you're just going to move to the next. And I don't even think that's the case. I just feel like, because I feel like they don't realize that that's what happened. They thought they were good for this year, and technically they're still good games wise this year. But the outlook to 2016 is what fucked it up. You made 2016 look like the fucking year of the last year of the Wii U. And that's what fucked it up. I think that's what truly fucked it up. People are like, if you don't announce a Metroid or Animal Crossing or some type of big Wii U game this year, it's like, yo, you're done with this console. And I think that was the problem. You essentially didn't announce any big game for the Wii U for next year. And people are just like, fuck it. I will tell you this, though. Don't follow Sony and Microsoft's ideal in the sense of announcing games way too far in development. Because when you think about it, Yoshi's been talked about since 2013. So that game has been around for 2 years. Fire Emblem Cross Megami Tensei, same thing, 2-year game. Even the games we are getting were games that were already in development for at least 2 years. Even the Star Fox game was something that was originally conceived in the Wii era. Fucking, that just didn't help consumer faith. So hopefully throughout the next few months we'll get some directs that kind of build it back up. Because to me, if we get to December and there's not been any like good directs for 2016, they don't even talk about it. You can do directs about stuff that's coming out this year, but like seriously, if you don't talk about anything that comes out next year, that is going to hurt you more than anything. I also do want to talk about the Star Fox thing because I was watching the Shokyo Shadow Fox debate, which that thing was. All I'm going to say about that debate and Star Fox in general is that yes, it would be fine. It would be nice if it had online. I don't think it needs online, but it would be nice if it had online. And also, I don't give a fuck about online, not because online would make the game fun or increase replay value. I don't give a fuck about online because that game looks way too fucking rough to give a shit about online right now. The one thing about that debate that you kept hearing was, why would it hurt to have online in the game? Well, no, Shokyo, it wouldn't hurt to have online in the game. But you know what it would hurt, possibly? The development of the game. The game's supposed to come out this year, and you see how rough it looks, and you want to throw online into that. That game needs to be fucking good on a single-player standpoint. And it wasn't like they threw out the idea of online. It wasn't like how they did with Splatoon, where it was like, we're just not going to have no voice chat. Me and Mo was like, look, I don't have a problem with online in here, but right now we need to focus on the single-player. And if you saw that trailer and you looked at that game needs to focus on single player so much. I would have no problem, and I mean this, because I think a lot of people are super biased towards Zelda. Zelda and Star Fox look fucking rough. Rough as shit. I wasn't even mad. I'm not mad at the games being delayed for Sony and Microsoft. I'm just saying Sony did nothing to quell the, oh, it's 2015 and Sony has no games. That's a fact. Sony has like no exclusives at least. No fucking exclusives. Not any big exclusives. Star Fox and Zelda can be pushed to 2016. I would have no fucking problem with that. No problem. Why? Because both of the games look rough. Star Fox looks rougher, but Zelda doesn't look fucking great either. So I have no problem with those games being pushed out, being delayed. People will get pissed and be like, oh my god, why would you do this? Have you seen the games? They both look rough as fuck. Star Fox looks rougher primarily in the sense that, like, the models and shit, and primarily the lack of enemies. Like, the games, that shit looks way too empty to be a goddamn Star Fox game. It's a shooter, and I'm shooting like 3 or 4 enemies. What kind of shit is this? Fuck online. Fuck it. That online can wait. You can throw online in at any time. That's why it's an optional feature. This is the thing I fucking hate is that people are using the term option and don't realize that options don't necessarily equate to good things. I mean, you have optional DLC, optional season passes, optional EA access, optional fucking on this DRM. Fucking the options don't mean shit. Options is just a way of saying that, oh, what's the problem with giving us choices? Well, most of the other things I just mentioned, people hate. People hate on this DLC. People hate EA early access. People hate things that feel like they should be already in the game. But it's an option, guys. It's an option. So Star Fox, worry about single player. Fuck that noise about multiplayer. I don't give a fuck about multiplayer at all. When the single player looks good, then I'll worry about multiplayer. But for right now, fuck multiplayer. Multiplayer means jack shit to me if the main game sucks. Because if the main game sucks, the multiplayer will suck by proxy because it's using the same gameplay engine. And they'll probably be using the same damn levels in multiplayer as they use in single player. So if the single player sucks, the multiplayer will suck. It may not suck as bad because it may not have, because maybe some of the issues with the game is level design. But in terms of the actual like core of it, that sucks. The game sucks. So fuck online. I don't care. Make sure that game runs well. If we see the next time we see that game, if that game isn't even being announced to be delayed or it doesn't look insanely better, please, that game is going to turn out into a broken piece of shit. And this is the one franchise you don't need to do that with. 2015 overall doesn't look amazing at all. The best part of it is probably Nintendo stuff, and even then, because I mean, even the stuff people are hyped about in the other games. I mean, you have Halo 5 this year, you have Tomb Raider this year, Call of Duty this year. You're hyped, like essentially all this year did was go, man, can't wait until 2016, which is funny as fuck because 2014 was the same damn thing. Can't wait until 2015. Nope. Nope. Absolutely not. And you can say Sony won this E3, but if you say they win 2015, you're out of your fucking mind. You're out of your fucking mind. I mean, let's think about it. This generation, you have a console that's selling on hype, a console that's repeating almost the same mistakes it made in the fucking generation before, and then a console that's just struggling. Fucking struggling. And even though it has good games, it's just fucking struggling through a lot of random bad decisions. Gaming sucks right now. I don't give a fuck what anyone tells you. Gaming sucks on all platforms right now. For just different reasons. Sony, just because Sony can't get their shit together. Sony doesn't have the money and can't get their shit together. Xbox doesn't know what a fucking exclusive means. Nintendo, it just has anemic ass. Not even the hardware, it's the fucking, just the choices behind the hardware. The Wii U could still be a beast in its own right, just fucking throw in the right things, man. Fucking year was terrible. I'm not even saying look forward to 2016, fuck 2016. Fuck 2016, fuck 2017, I don't even care. I'm serious, I don't. This year was supposed to be hype from last year, so I don't fucking care, dude. Let's just see how far the rabbit hole goes, and I'm going to specifically say Nintendo, for the love of God, put out some directs to reinstall faith, because people took this E3 the wrong way, and that's the last thing you need, especially because we still have to deal with the Wii for at least another year or two. I say at least. The most I'm hoping is until like 2017, maybe 2018. Yeah. Thoughts, comments, leave them in the comment section below. Catch you guys later. Peace out.